All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
And we are live. Paul, how you doing this Friday night, bud?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, my friend? Sorry about the late start, but
no, you're good, man. It's a little bit of nasty weather out there, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of got everybody turned for a loop.
Yeah, but I ain't trying to get out in it. But I hope everybody's having a good Friday. The weekend is here. We made it another week. And we got some breaking news to start off the show today.
Well, let me tell you. Let me first welcome all of you new listeners and listeners that are coming on for the first time. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for basically everything, being here, giving us a thumbs up. But I can't do this show without thanking our huge sponsorship in TNS Electric out of Barnesville, Georgia, Rainbow Sales and Services out of Columbus, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Two really good sponsors that we have that have been done. So you guys need anything in the vacuum cleaning, electrical, hanging TVs, outlets ran, you call Taylor and you won't regret it. Trust me. I've called them for all my, needs I've got. But you talk about this breaking news, Ryan, and welcome to Let's Talk Sports, everybody. We want to drop this on you because I was just handed this message about 4 hours ago that this was a potential possibility. Now, I've heard rumors of this, but I wanted to wait. Like I said, we heard from our inside source to let you guys know our inside source is in Athens.
Yes, sir.
But I want Ryan to Ryan, help us explain to us a little bit about this breaking news that we've got and what impact this has now.
Well, to start it off, here we go. So reports are coming out of Oregon tonight. Pretty weird situation of both. There's conflicting sides to this. But the AJC, for those who don't know, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, that's the big newspaper here in Atlanta. They first reported that Dan Lanning is taking the Oregon head coaching position, which would be huge. Now, with that being said, about an hour later after they posted it, they no official word has been received from Oregon. Oregon's denying that they have even made a coaching change. So we're going to keep an eye on this. But, I mean, there's a lot of blue check marks on Twitter posting about it, saying that he's already accepted the job and they'll do a press conference Monday. Now, what do you do if you're Georgia going into the New Year's Eve bowls and the playoffs?
Well, that's what I wanted to get to you, Ryan. And I just wanted to quickly pick your brain here because this has a possibility to be a huge move going forward. Depending on what recruiting site you guys use, everybody's got their favorite. I know you got 24/7 composite, then you got 24/7 regular. ESPN's come a long way in recruiting. But no matter which recruiting site you use, guess who's always at the top of that list?
That's right. Who is it? Tell him.
It's Dan Lanning.
Yep.
And let me ask you this. I know I bashed Dan Lanning when Florida was looking for a coach a couple weeks ago. I didn't think he was head coach material for the University of Florida. But obviously Phil Knight and that Oregon team went out and got the best they could get. But as a Georgia fan, what does this do to you? Like, you know what this is going to happen. You know what's going to happen in a couple of days in December 15th at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
What if I'm just a casual Georgia fan hearing this news? Oh, the defensive coordinator's lost. No big deal. What does this have to do with moving forward for this program and this university? What do you see being the setback here?
Well, I mean, this couldn't have come at a worse time. We definitely have a good defense. I think we got exposed a few weekends ago for sure. But going into a playoff game against Michigan, who's got a good offense, and you potentially going to lose your defensive coordinator, that's not good news for Georgia fans out there.
Well, it out of all the things we've seen from Georgia and the championship against Alabama and everything we heard about this just Georgia defense, they were the best that we've seen on God's green earth. Not
Yeah.
so fast, my friend, because Alabama just hung 41 and Michigan liable to hang 61.
I don't think that'll happen. I mean, who knows, man?
Nobody thought I was right with the Alabama pick neither, and I
Yeah.
told you guys last week. Look, you know.
Well, here's what's going to have to happen. The players are going to have, if Dan Lanning does leave, the players are going to have to morale themselves. They're going to have to get in the group. They're going to have to hold a players only meeting. That's what I would do. At this point in the year, you're all you got. No matter who's going to have the headset on the sideline, it don't matter. You got to go out there and do what you're supposed to do. Know your assignments. Know what you're supposed to do, and keep the ball game close. I mean, it's very simple. They're not going to change the whole defensive scheme because Dan Lanning's gone. They're going to keep doing what they've been doing. Hopefully, that's what we're hoping. But and I think as an 18 and 19-year-old kid, though, to have one of your best, one of your guys leave at a time like this can be heartbreaking, man. To be honest.
Well, what does this have to do? The question that most people are going to ask now. What does this do to when you've got a top recruiter like Dan Lanning? When you've got a guy that's mixing it up with these young kids, he goes to Oregon. Do you think Dan Lanning is going solo, or is he fixing to pluck what we call this University of Georgia coaching staff? Because you have to see it from both sides. You're a Georgia fan, so you'll see it from one side. During the pregame show, I kind of talked to you a little bit about the effects that I thought this would have, the direct effects, and this happens to be, to me. I told you that what I would do. I would take the defensive line coach, the linebacker coach, the secondary coach, the strength and conditioning coach. I would leave Mark Richt standing there. Kirby Smart standing there.
Same person.
I'd leave Kirby Smart standing there looking like a dumbass. I'd stand there looking around like, what just happened? Because he wouldn't know. Look, I think Ryan told me that Dan Lanning made about 1.2 million last year, or 1.5, something like that. Correct?
Yeah, he was making $100,000 his first year, which was I think in 18 or 19, and then this year he's right over $1 million.
Yeah. Okay. To keep that in mind with recruiting with coordinators in football, Clemson's defensive coordinator was making about $2 million. Florida's defensive coordinator making about $2 million. Alabama's offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, making about $2 million. Yeah. So you as a Georgia fan, what do you think would be the issue with plucking coaches? And as recruits that have already committed to this school, and Dan Lanning, do those pledges, does those verbal commits back off? Did they say, well, we're going to go out here to Oregon because everybody knows Phil Knight has a lot to do with Oregon, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And you've seen that with Oklahoma players. You've seen it with, Notre Dame players, LSU players. Everybody gets a little hesitant when their main guy leaves that recruited him. I mean, if you're 18, 19 years old, I mean, I'd feel the same way, to be honest with you. I'm like, well, who are they going to bring in?
The relationship Dan Lanning has, Ron, is just that. Let me tell you something for those that's never been recruited by college football coaches and assistant coaches. You kind of have a bonding, just like you would a best friend. The guy calls on your birthday. They call to check different things. They call to wish your mom a happy birthday, a Merry Christmas. They become somebody that becomes a friend.
Yeah.
When you lose that in a certain way, like you have with Dan Lanning, I mean, I told Ryan a couple weeks ago, and I've told you, our listeners, Georgia will lose both coordinators.
Yeah.
The number one reason they'll lose both coordinators is because of that statistic I told you earlier. They're making about $1 million less than all other top coordinators are. If you can't pay your coaches, I can guarantee you this year, 2021, you will lose them.
Yeah, and then you've seen that just now in Clemson too. Dabo's lost both his offensive and defensive coordinators. This is the first time that Dabo's going to have to really go out there and recruit coaches now. But you're seeing the games. What do you call it? The playing field of college football now. It's coming down to money, And I read an article today that they're projecting in 2 or 3 years, college athletes, especially football players, they're going to be averaging $2 or $3 million a year due to NILs and other stuff like that, other endorsements. So if the players are getting that, imagine what the coaches, the coordinators, and everybody else are going to get.
Rachel, you bring up such a good point. And God, the amount of football knowledge you have as a woman is just absolutely unbelievable. That is the very next question I wanted to ask Ryan. Look, Kirby Smart is not Daddy Nick.
Yeah.
Kirby Smart, he can't just plug another coordinator in and they'll be fine. It doesn't work like that. Nick Saban is one of those guys that recruiters come a dime a dozen. Coaches go there to revamp their career and then get head coaches elsewhere. This will sting, and mark my words, this will sting in December 15th and February 2nd. Dan Lanning leaving Georgia. You don't see it now, give it about 24 hours, and let's see the guys that's decommitting. Let's see the guys that are backing off early signing day, because, like I said, the relationship you build with Dan Lanning or whatever coach is recruiting you, it is a relationship that you now just lost. I don't want to go play for some bum Kirby Smart that can't beat Alabama. Look, Georgia's NIL deals suck.
Well,
Georgia Tech athletes have better NIL deals than the University of Georgia. Miami has better NIL athletes than the University of Georgia.
We got a couple NIL deals that are, some guys on the team, they got Waffle House sponsorships, Home Depot, just to name a couple.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody driving a Dodge Demon though. They might be, but I haven't seen one.
Well, let me tell you this: for those that don't, Bryce Young's making 7 figures, and I think he proved his worth in the SEC championship game.
Yeah,
that is a NIL deal that Alabama, the booster and whoever they got to sponsor that was a home run. On the reverse side of that, you look at somebody like DJ Uiagalelei that plays for Clemson, also 7-figure deal.
Yeah, he's not worth it.
Do you think he's worth? Or you look at TJ Yates at Georgia Tech. TJ Yates is signed by the Atlanta Braves, the World Series champion, making about $600,000 annually.
He's a backup.
He's not even the starter. Look, people, he's not even the starter for Georgia Tech. The guy is a backup.
And you got to be pretty terrible not to start at Georgia Tech. Let's be honest.
Well, speaking of Georgia Tech, I've got to say this, and I don't mean to bring down the mood here, but for those that don't know, tragedy in the Georgia Tech community in the state of Georgia and the Denver Broncos and everybody that had that had dealings with this guy says Demaryius Thomas passed away last night. There's a lot of stuff out there about what, you can go look at it, but we want to, give our hearts and prayers out to that as well. Was such a good guy and to leave football early because of issues, seizures or whatever he was having. You just hate to hear that. And I brought that up talking to my family about it. And I said the one thing that is sad is he was 33 years old.
Yeah, he's our age.
He had a long way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was a good guy off the court. Off the field as well. Man, he did a lot. And, he's a Georgia guy, man. One of the GOATs around here in the community. Did a lot of work for the community. Was just a heck of a guy. I know that I read an article a while ago. The Broncos will honor him at Sunday's game. So keep him and his family in your prayers.
Well, for those that don't know, one of the plays that Demarius Thomas made, it was a reception from Tim Tebow to advance the Denver Broncos into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Steelers fans remember that. I know a lot of Tebow fans, Bronco fans especially, man. But he was a great basketball player as well, man. He could have went anywhere he wanted to in basketball. He had God-gifted talent.
Well, and getting back to what we was talking about the coordinators and stuff leaving, like I said, that hits home because I look at this and the more that I see in this day and age, maybe 10 years ago, Ryan, it's not that big a deal. And 10 years ago, I don't see Georgia losing their defensive recruits. Yeah. I don't see Georgia because the head coach didn't change, right? Kirby Smart's still there. The core guys still there. But what you've got to ask yourself is who leaves? Does my position coach leave?
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee you this. Dan Lanning won't go out to Oregon without somebody from this Georgia staff. He's too smart for that. And to not use the resources that he has, I would go, like I said, I'd go after the linebackers coach, the D-line coach, the strength and conditioning coach. If Georgia doesn't want to pay these guys, come with me to Oregon. I'll get you paid.
Yeah, and then they will pay you a lot more out there, cost of living and all that.
But not only that out there,
they got money.
It's just anywhere. You see this happen. You see this happening everywhere. You to get good coaches, you're going to have to pay. And you talk about what one coach has an impact. The best thing I can tell you, Ryan and listeners, is this. If you don't believe the strength and conditioning coach has an impact on your team, you don't believe the defensive coordinator has a impact on recruits, young guys, players that are on this Georgia team now. How many of them hit the portal? And just like I was saying, you don't believe all those coaches have impacts. Just look at the University of Florida. I think we lost our number one receiver. We've lost our number one linebacker.
Y'all got hit hard.
That's coaching changes.
That's what it'll do to a team, man. Unfortunately,
we would have kept majority of those guys had we just kept Nick Savage. For those that don't know, Nick Savage is the strength and conditioning coach of Florida. Was the strength and conditioning coach. But
look, and here's the thing too, man. All these coaches, they go out recruiting. They go into these athletes' homes and everything. Their parents are literally making these coaches dinner, just sitting around talking, chit-chatting. And that instills that a kid believes in them, right? You come into my house, you have dinner with my mom and dad, they cook you dinner. You got a relationship with that guy, right? You don't let just anybody off the street into your house. And, the coaches are leaving with pies and sweets, desserts, leftovers, man. And you do all that, and then 3 months later, you're gone. And these coaches want to preach loyalty to these kids. There's no loyalty anymore. And I'm surprised. Here's my prediction. I don't think you'll see any NFL coaches come back to college for a long time. We're beginning to see how hard and demanding that job is. It is a 24/7, 365 job. There's stuff. When do you take a break from all this stuff? You don't get a break. Whether it's when you're making that much money, Ron, there is no break, son. Yeah, but
that's what you sign up for. Look, if you can't handle the job, if you can't handle the $10 million a year, go to the portal.
Coaching portal.
Go to the coaching portal.
You heard it here first. Hey, that's what we need to start, dude. We need to start a coaching portal. I'll put my name in. I'll put your name in, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm and Rachel continues to make good points here, and I've got to say, you
I like that comment, Rachel. She said, "Not if you're Dan Mullen, only during recruiting season."
Well, well, that's the difference, though. You look at these top tier programs that recruit well, and say what you want to about Dan Mullen and his recruiting class. I was when Billy Napier came in, I was worried about some of the recruits we were losing.
Yeah.
The one thing I wasn't worried about is players transferring from the team.
Yeah.
I mean, we're taking a huge Diabate. I mean, Mahmoud Diabate. I think the world of this guy. Look, I've got 14 followers on Twitter, and he's one of them. So I mean,
you think highly of the guy, huh?
I think highly of this guy. Now everybody knows Trey Dean and with him and I mean, it's one of my favorites on the team, but I put Diabate right up there. Jacob Copeland hurts, but I'm just saying this has a direct impact. Losing coaches, strength and conditioning coaches, position coaches. This has an impact, even though Florida did bring in the LSU defensive back coach, which I think, I mean, Billy Napier's got tricks up his sleeve. Don't worry about that. But what I told Ryan during the pregame show is Saban went 6-6 in his first season at Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, it started year 2, year 3, year 4, really putting on a dominant performance. It's taken Georgia 40 years. I mean, it's taken him over 40 years.
It ain't taking him 40 years, man. Come on.
Well, I'm just saying, one thing, like I was telling you, one thing I didn't see coming that was blindsided me a little bit. I thought we'd have some transfers, but I didn't think we would deplete the team. So instead of signing, 10 guys, instead of signing 10 guys in your recruiting class and getting about 10 from 12 from the portal, you're looking at a Billy Napier that is now getting 17 from the portal and signing maybe 8.
Yeah, so y'all's team's going to be made up of the portal this coming next year.
I mean, look, we're going to be portal heavy.
Yeah, but look, man, Napier's got a plan. He ain't going to go out there come out playing flat. I guarantee you that.
Well, and one of the things during the press conference said, if I can't recruit and sign 25 players to the University of Florida, he said, I'm going to be searching for another job.
Yeah, and dude, I got respect for a guy like it takes some cojones to say that in this day and time, but he's right though, man.
I mean,
that's a historic program.
Well, there's a reason why he turned down Auburn, he turned down South Carolina, Missouri, Tennessee, Virginia Tech, BYU. There's a reason why this coach turned down those jobs, and maybe he was. I mean, and we just invested $100 million into a football facility. Not a athletic facility, a strictly football facility. Nobody in the country has this. You're talking about me being mediocre in the pack when it comes. And when I say facilities, I don't mean Florida has crap hole facilities. Don't take that at all. They've got good. I mean, I would love to have played there, but you also they didn't have the. Now they have I forget what it's called when you have a digital image of somebody. What is that?
Oh, the name and likeness? NFT, I mean.
No. I'm talking about when you got a digital image of like a person or whatever. It's a holographic, whatever it is. You can now have your own hologram at the University of Florida.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying. I mean, but kids like this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Kids, look, today's generation, they want to get paid, and they want to go to the NFL and get paid more. And if you can't give that to them, then they'll find somebody else that can. And that's what it comes down to.
I just see this move impacting a lot throughout the University of Georgia program. They don't know yet, but trust me, as somebody who's seen a lot of people transfer and a lot of people dip, Georgia will have these decommits. The tight ends already decommitted from what I can see on GPTV, on the sports, on their recruiting page. The number one tight end in the country dipped from Georgia yesterday. That's as somebody who doesn't like Georgia, you like to see this. I like to see them struggling.
Hey, you got to show me.
I mean, I like to see this.
Yeah. Yeah, Richard made a good point. He mentioned the NIL twice in his press conference. I mean, you're right, though. That's what the kids look, man. Let's be honest. When you're a college kid, you ain't got that much money in your pocket. You're broke. You don't have money to put food in your mouth. But if they can get on this NIL and if Billy Napier can offer that to them and get their name out there, dude, that's changing kids' lives, man. You're talking about 18, 19-year-old kid with 7 figures in their bank account,
Well, and that brings me to my next point, and where I go with this is I think you look at NIL deals and you look at, just for instance, Jordan Davis that played defensive tackle for University of Georgia. He had 16 solo tackles and 3.5 sacks.
Yeah.
That puts him tied for 190th in the country as a player.
Woo!
190th as a player in the country. But guess what? He won the Defensive Player of the Year.
He sure did.
3.5 sacks. I believe my little niece can go out there and get 3.5 sacks.
I mean, a lot of it has to do with just him being so daggone big. Everybody looks at him.
When does big equal an award? What do they do? Giving out participation for being big?
Hey, he's a beast, man. You can't go through Georgia without going through him.
Ask Bryce Young about that.
Yeah, I mean, that was an exception.
He had the same stats that Dexter had at Florida. Dexter had 2 more sacks and 6 more tackles. So big makes you the defensive player. Do I think he's a good defender? Absolutely. He's not the best defender on that team.
No, I think there's a lot of guys that are probably about the same.
Campbell has 10 sacks.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Nakobe Dean was the leader of that defense, man. Him and
well, you won't have to worry about that anymore. Nakobe Dean will be gone. Jordan Davis will be gone. Campbell will transfer. They'll go with the Oregon, and Oregon will have that defense now.
Yeah, and look at the Pac-12. It's going to be a shoe. Do you think USC and Oregon? Look, what if Dan Lannon takes some of his defensive recruits and goes out there with him? Could you imagine SEC type players out there in the Pac-12?
Well, Oregon used to have that.
They did. And they ain't had it for a long time.
No, but it's a program that you talk about NIL deals. Who wouldn't want to be sponsored by Nike?
Yeah, they're right there.
I mean, Phil Knight, it owns Nike. The guy, it's Phil Knight Field is what Oregon play at. They play there. Phil Knight Field. The basketball team plays at Phil Knight Dome.
Yeah, and they got 20 different uniforms.
And they got the chrome helmets, which for those.
Hey, man, you a sucker for chrome helmets.
God, I love those. Oh, God, I love those. I hate Kentucky, but I love when they wear those blue on blue with those chrome helmets. Golly.
Florida has some, didn't they?
No, we go with the matte blue, which is probably my favorite, or the solid white with the throwback logo, with the Steve Spurrier logo. But
hey, speaking of old coaches, right quick before we jump over, have you heard anything out of Dan Mullen about where he might be headed? I haven't heard anything.
What I was told is, and this was from a reliable source, look for that Duke University to hire Dan Mullen.
That's a perfect fit for Dan Mullen. I will say that. A perfect fit.
I mean, it's look.
Where the expectations ain't great, but where they allow mediocrity. And that's a perfect job.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have to recruit that well. He just has to go in the ACC and show up every now and then, beat a couple of non-conference opponents, finish 4-6 and 4-7, and maybe one year get to a bowl. But David Cutcliffe turned that program around. Steve Spurrier turned that program around. I mean,
Yeah, it can
in
be done.
1989, Duke was Duke was relevant.
Yeah, and they were relevant a few years ago too.
I mean, but we're getting back to that Pac-12, and you talk about some of the things that I think one of the biggest things that'll hit Dan Lanning in the face is there's a lot of good coaches out there. One being Lincoln Riley, who just about is going to take everybody from Oklahoma with him, which we already
Hmm.
knew that. And the number two, you got Chip Kelly out there that's doing his thing. Chip Kelly, because of what he's done in the past, he'll get some of those recruits from California, Oregon, Wyoming,
Yeah.
Washington State. He's going to get recruits from those states. But you've got, I mean, everybody. There's a lot of good coaches out there. So to recruit with that, you're going to have to get some of these young guys that
Hmm.
Georgia has, and you're going to have to go out there and build a program.
Yeah, and look for the Pac-12 next year to be hopping. All they got to do, and look, I'm telling you, it's going to be harder for these other conferences to pull people out of that West Coast now, because you're going to have Lincoln Riley, potentially Dan Mullen, Chip Kelly out there. So a lot of those guys that you see, like a Matt Corral, Bryce Young, all those guys are West Coast guys. Now I think they're going to stay out there. Why not?
Well, if you want to look at Oregon and the impact, Oregon has an impact here in our state, Ryan.
Yeah.
You look at Buford's team, 2 guys going to Oregon. You look at Collins Hill team, 1
Hmm.
guy going to Oregon, and now the other one, the USC commit.
Yeah.
The West Coast to the East Coast, bruh.
That's right. I know. Hey, and if you're Kirby Smart and Billy Napier, I mean, we gotta like it. We gotta do a better job of getting these guys from Georgia to stay in Georgia too.
Well, the problem I have with that is when they do get players to stay in Georgia, um, like a Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence or
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton, Deshaun Watson,
Hmm.
that had no intentions at playing at Georgia. And I'll be honest with you, I as a former offensive lineman, I wouldn't go to Georgia neither. It's a crap hole, and I wouldn't because I'd go. You look at just locally. You look at Griffin High School. They got a kid Westmoreland. Never he was offered by Georgia, committed to South Carolina 2 years ago. You look at somebody like Travis Hunter, who is the number 1 player in the world and the best athlete I've ever seen grace the football field. But if Kirby Smart if he can't keep him, who can he keep?
Yeah. Well, Kirby Smart's job. He's gonna have to take 3 or 4 jobs right now. Because not only that, he's got to find coordinators. He's got to retool this team, and he's got to get ready for New Year's Eve.
I think New Year's Eve, Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning, they realize they're not winning against Michigan.
Dude, come on.
It's no. I've got to keep it 100 here. It's Dan Lanning sees what's in the water. He wants out. I'd want out. The offensive coordinator's gone. How they continue to get Vandergriff and the other
Gunnar
quarterback
Stockton.
and Gunnar Stockton. Now I know Gunnar Stockton didn't have that good of a year this year, but he had 3 great years, freshman, sophomore, and junior year. But I just can't get over that. How you don't keep Travis Hunter here, how you don't keep Sunshine here, how you
Yeah.
don't keep Justin Fields here. If I'm a quarterback, everybody in this chat, everybody listening to the show, everybody watching the show, everybody producing this show, we know who the quarterback's going to be for the Bulldogs next year. It's
Who?
not that hard to figure out.
Who?
It's JT Daniels, the all American son. Somebody clip this. Somebody clip this.
I ain't clipping nothing.
Because next year when it rolls around spring ball and all, you'll see. Oh, here they are. You kidding me? They got this guy again. Arch
No, I
Manning.
think I think JT Daniels goes back to the West Coast.
No, Rachel, I agree. Arch Manning, he's going to be graded out when next year. He's going to be graded out a solid 1, and a 1 is the absolute. There's like 10 people to ever play this sport that's gotten a 1. But when it comes to just pure athlete and just a guy that you can automatically look at that's just the best player, there's a possibility that Travis Hunter may play both ways.
Yeah, I mean he can and kick and special teams.
I mean, if you need a long snapper, he'll do that. If you need a field goal kicker, he kicked a 50-something yard field goal.
Yeah, something that NFL kickers can't do now. Yeah, Raymond, we heard Dan Lannon is going to Oregon. There's been a couple conflicting reports, so Oregon hasn't come out
There
and said
is no
anything.
conflicting reports. Look, Dan Lanning, Raymond, Dan Lanning sees the water getting real murky in Athens. I called this at the beginning of the season, and I'm telling you now, Dan Lanning is no idiot. He wants out. The reason he wants out is because they lost to Alabama in a, for those who didn't watch the show, to be a champion. He lost to Alabama. I mean, that defense looked like looked horrible.
Like a bunch of smashed assholes.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Dan Lanning realizes Jordan Davis is no longer there. The defensive player of the year, not there. Dean, gone. Campbell, transferring. I mean, he sees, wait a second, all my guys are leaving. It's time for me to go get paid.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to add, what, $8-9 more million in his pocket?
I mean, I would look for his deal to be about the round of Venables' deal, about 6 year, $50 million, something like that. I mean, you're looking at 6.5, $7 million. But again, that's like I said, he sees what's in the water and he knows what's coming. I mean, look, if you was defensive coordinator, would you want to coach these ragged ass players to a beat down by the Michigan Wolverines?
Beat down.
Look. He don't want to see and I'm not even a Michigan fan. I don't even like Jim Harbaugh. I think he's a horrible coach.
What are you predicting the score is going to be?
It may be 60 to 14, 51 to 14. It's going to be bad.
I'm going to
clip
this. I'm going to clip this.
This is the same guy who told you Alabama was going to destroy Georgia. The same guy, but this is also the same guy that said Georgia Tech had a chance.
That's right. He's a wild card. You don't know what to do with him.
You don't know what to do. But
oh man,
we've taken a little while doing that, but we're gonna. I mean, we can go over some. We want to quickly. I know there's 80 bowls. We want to kind of go over our pick'ems, and we may throw some stuff in to just chit chat about these teams. But Ryan's gonna post this.
Let me pull it up right quick.
Oh. And then I want to get into something I think is amazing for women all over the world and
me too, Raymond. I got faith in them.
Raymond, I got more faith than in the crap I just took, bud. The dogs are who we thought they were.
Hey, Paul, like you said at the beginning of the year, this is not the year of the dog.
Let me ask you this, and Raymond, you can chime in too, bud. Would you rather beat Alabama for the SEC championship game, or win the national, or lose to Alabama and win the? I mean, is the national, because you have to play Alabama again. There's no way Alabama is losing to Cincinnati. No, we don't have to. If you want to have faith in somebody, Raymond, you have faith in Billy Napier.
Oh God.
You have faith in Mario Cristobal. You have faith in Jeff Collins. You have faith
in Collins.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I got more faith in Jeff Collins than I do right now with this team that's you're fixing to see against this Michigan Wolverines team. I told you, clip this, and I'll be here to tell you. If Ryan, I put myself in your shoes. If you say, "Hey, Paul, we would give up the national championship just to wax Nick Saban and his ass on in the SEC championship game." As a Florida fan, I would rather beat Nick Saban, beat him bad, than win the national championship. And the reason why is because we've had success at national championships.
And that's why
But
it'd be more important to win the national championship if you're a Dog fan. Who cares? SEC championship at the end of the day, it wasn't okay. You still don't have a national championship.
No, this means more than that. This, if you can go in and beat Alabama, it would fold well in recruiting. It would fold well in the philosophy of the team and the way this culture and that way the culture of the team is built. Right now, they don't know which way is up.
I don't know if they're coming or going, do they?
No, they don't. And with the transfer portal fixing to heat up, you're going to see a lot of those Georgia Bulldogs in this transfer portal.
I hope not.
But let's get to the bowl starting next Friday, December 17th. And we're going to go through these kind of quick, and then we'll break down some of them, and then we'll, give you our recap on what we think is going to be the national championship game. But in the Bahamas Bowl, you got Middle Tennessee versus Toledo. Now, I don't know a lot about the Rockets out there in Toledo. I do know this, that Toledo hung with Cincinnati.
Yeah. Well, I think they lost by what, 7 or 8?
But it's also hard to beat Middle Tennessee because everybody knows me and knows this show knows my heart was on Middle Tennessee. I mean, I think Middle Tennessee would be a good team. They're right there out of Murfreesboro. Great coach. It's an up and coming program for sure. Look in this game. I'm gonna have to go with Toledo from what they've shown me in recent games. When it comes down to like playing Cincinnati, I've got to go with them.
Yeah, I'm taking Toledo as well. I don't know too much about either team, but I do know Toledo has been playing good football. I'm taking the Rockets, baby.
Well, give us the next one.
All right. The next one is the Cure Bowl. You got Coastal Carolina versus Northern Illinois. My heart says go with Coastal Carolina. I mean, they were my underdog team of the year.
This is the Northern Illinois team that beat your Yellow Jackets.
Which ain't saying much.
I'm just saying. I mean, if you look at the teams that they've played, Coastal's not had a good as year they had last year, and the other thing is, Coastal has kind of had a year that they had last year with the mullet and all that being fired up. We hadn't seen that from this Coastal team this year. We hadn't seen Dustin Johnson go out there and hype them up. We've not seen Marty McGee and all these guys go out there and hype them up,
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Raymond said off the subject real quick, who do you guys think will win the Heisman? I'm taking Bryce Young all day, every day. After that game he pulled against Georgia, he's got to be a lock, right? I mean,
yeah, there is nobody better.
Mm-hmm.
There's no redshirt freshman that's better.
No, I would like to see Pickett win out of Pittsburgh, but he's got slim against Bryce Young. Ain't nobody going to top him. What he done?
Well, and you look at Bryce Young's numbers. I mean, they're not as good as Kyle Trask's last year.
But the dude is a winner. I know he had that one game against Texas A&M, and they had a couple close calls this year. But man, this dude to be an 18 redshirt freshman, bro, to do what he did against. I mean, he destroyed our seniors. Who had the top ranked defense in the nation.
That's not saying.
Dude, I'm going to have to mute you for a minute.
Moving on.
All right, so now we got the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl against Appalachian State versus Western Kentucky.
And this is a game that I think you circle. Because this is going to be, you're talking about two evenly matched teams. Yeah. Look, Appalachian State just played for the Sun Belt last weekend. Appalachian State give Billy Napier and them and his Louisiana team a good run.
Yeah.
Appalachian State, they've got. I mean, I like Appalachian State in this one. It's Western Kentucky is good. I look for this to be one of the better games out there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm taking App State as well. I know Bobby Rainey went to Western Kentucky, didn't he?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right here. That was a good one. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. You're right here in Griffin. All right, so the next bowl is the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Get your crickets, get them out. We got South Carolina State versus Jackson State. I think Jackson State's the one where Dion's at, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm taking Jackson State all day long. They've had a good year.
Well, it just seems like that program, and I don't follow as much as I should of the HBU, and it's not they're just not on TV, I guess, a lot. So, I mean, I guess that's where I kind of fall off just a touch with not keeping what's going on. But I like Jackson State and where I mean, look, Dion's got 5 jobs probably if he wanted them, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised he's not mentioning that Florida State job.
He's got his team. Well, the Florida State, they're good with Mike Norvell in this recruiting class. I'm telling
you, they got a hell of a recruiting class coming in.
I mean, Florida State is if there's any Seminole fans out there, get ready.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, we got the New Mexico Bowl, Fresno State versus Utep. University of Texas of El Paso. I don't know too much about either team. I do know Fresno State is pretty good.
I mean, the line has bumped up a little bit more, and Fresno State's got Jake Hedinger, and this guy is really good. I've heard he may be in the portal. I've heard he's maybe not being in the portal. Fresno just is maybe, like I said, Fresno State wins, but I don't think. I mean, I think Fresno State wins, but this game it would be close. If I was picking the spread, I would pick against Fresno. But being we're just talking straight up. I think Fresno wins.
Yeah, straight up, I agree with you. The next one is Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. We got BYU versus University of Alabama, Birmingham. I think I'm gonna roll with the Cougars on this one, man.
Well, the Cougars are ranked 13th, and they've got a running back in BYU. I know people think BYU, they think are running the ball, but they got Tyler Allgeier is the kid's name. Look, this dude is worth watching. BYU holds off the Blazers here. I look for this game to maybe get out of hand. BYU, they're offensively and defensively just look. University of Alabama Birmingham did good by getting to a bowl, but I don't think this is the one they want to be in against this BYU team.
Hell no. All right, the next one we got the Lending Tree Bowl. We got Liberty, Billy Napier's old school versus Eastern Michigan.
No, Billy Napier was at Louisiana.
I mean,
this
Louisiana.
Hugh Freeze's boys.
Same L.
And let me tell you, Liberty's got a quarterback that may be number one in a lot of big boards in Malik Willis. And a lot of scouts are going to be there to watch this game. Eastern Michigan's defense has played well against the pass. They've given up about 169 yards for the pass, but they're in the bad category for giving up rushing yards. I like Liberty to win this. They cover whatever the 7
spread is 9.
Yeah, I like for Liberty to cover that. I think Liberty wins outright regardless.
Yeah, and the next bowl is the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, which is weird. You got Utah State at Oregon State.
Well, and you look at Oregon State and what the Beavers done here. I mean, they're going to a bowl game, and Utah State's the same way. These Aggies, they've got a hell of a linebacker in Justin Rice. He's transferred from a couple of different programs. he's a game changer for this Oregon State Aggies team. You talk about people that can make problems.
Yeah.
Justin Rice can do this. I mean, he
Yeah.
is that good.
Yeah.
That being said, I think it's a I think it's a win. I think Utah State wins.
Yeah. I picked the Utah State as well. I don't think we want to go you want to go do every one of these, or you just want to hit the big ones?
I mean, we're doing good with time.
Okay. All right. So the next one we have the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, Marshall versus Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns.
I
Who's
think
going to be coaching that?
Look, it doesn't matter. The Raging Cajuns will stomp all over the Thundering Herd.
Yeah,
Billy Napier won't be there, but look, the players are still there for Louisiana. They're ranked 23 in the country for a reason. I mean, I would put Louisiana against a couple of Power 5 teams any day of the week. This well coached, disciplined. I know that the Thundering Herd come off of a decent season this year, but Louisiana wins this by 12, easy.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to root it. I mean it's hard to not pick Louisiana in this one. All right, so the Myrtle Beach Bowl, we have Tulsa and Old Dominion. Now, keep in mind, Tulsa was one of those teams that almost beat Cincinnati as well this year. They've played a lot of close games against some big time opponents this year. I'm taking Tulsa by at least 2 scores in this one.
The Golden Hurricanes.
Yep.
Close out the season with 3 straight wins.
Yep. I think so as well. You sound like Lee Corso. Let's see. Yeah, we'll get Notre Dame and Ohio State are coming up here in just a second. We're going to knock out of some of these little lesser known bowls. Let's see. All right, so next we have famous Idaho Potato Bowl. You got Kent State versus Wyoming. It's a toss-up for me, man. I'm just going to pick Wyoming. I don't know.
Look,
I don't know anything about
Kent State is 0-5 playing ranked teams this year. Wyoming's not ranked, but this game is straight up a coin flip. Look, the Golden Flashes of Kent State have been able to run the ball some. They're trending good. But Wyoming the Cowboys started off to a hot start. It was 4-0. But trailed off towards the end of the year. Wyoming's favored in this one by a little more than a field goal. This is a coin flip, and I'm taking Wyoming just because the Cowboys had a good year starting off, and Kent State's 0-5 against Power 5 teams.
Yeah, good call there, bud. All right, so Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl. You got University of Texas San Antonio versus the Aztecs out of San Diego State, and I'm Aztecing all the way on this one. I know they didn't finish out the way they wanted to, but they still have a hell of a football team, and I think they'll win this by at least 10.
Let me tell you, San Diego State, the Aztecs have one of the best defenses in college football, giving up about 67.7 yards rushing. There's something to keep in mind because this UTSA team, they have a McCormick is their running back, and the dude is a beast. He brings a lot of value to this TSA team. Let's just see how San Diego State, one of the best defenses in the country. I mean, especially statistic wise, going up against a team that wants to establish the run. Aztecs down in this. I know the Aztecs are favored, but I take UTSA here just because I think McCormick gets hot and establishes a run game, Ryan.
Yeah. All right, that'd be interesting to watch. Keep that one. That's at 7:30 on the 21st, and then the next one we have the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces, Armed Forces Bowl with the Missouri and Army. And I tell you what, I'm gonna take Missouri in this one. And Paul, me and you talked about it the other day. Missouri's they're in the top 10 in recruiting for next year, but I think the Missouri team is going to be trending upwards. Not saying they're going to take over, but they're going to have a hell of a team.
Drinkowitz has got these guys. You talk about people being able to keep talent in their state. Missouri is doing just that.
Yeah, and
The number
there's some
3
good talent.
player in the world is a lot of people thought he would commit to Alabama. He never did. He stayed his commitment with Eli Drinkwitz and this Missouri Tigers team. But I tell you, for a team like the Missouri Tigers that haven't seen this triple option, get ready.
Yeah.
These Black Knights took a couple of teams to the wire this year. We know the Black Knights in this Army team can score points. I look for Army to win the game. It's Eli Drinkwitz is a good coach, and I see Missouri trending the right way. This is a Missouri team that beat Florida. Not saying much this year, but this is a Missouri team that not a lot of people had winning more than 6 games, right? But I think Army gets the edge here because Missouri's not seen the triple option. When you're playing a triple option team, I've said this all year, you have to play assignment defense, which what that means is you've got to play really smart, stay in your hole, keep contained. Let me tell you something. These cadets, these guys at Army, one thing they will stay disciplined and keep assignment football.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna take the Missouri on this one. The option, and I know Missouri is the lesser of the SEC right now. They're in the bottom of the SEC, but the option has really never worked against SEC teams. Really, I mean they're more powerful up front. They got better athletes across the line. I think Missouri takes this one. Go ahead.
That's one that differs. Then I'll introduce this bowl because this is the bowl you guys have been waiting on. I know. Look, this is the Gasparilla Bowl, and I said that right. The Gasparilla Bowl.
Georgia fans, we've been there.
Yeah, well, this is coming from Tampa. It is 2 teams that are around that area. You got the University of Florida going against the UCF Knights here, and it's going to be a good matchup between Greg Knox and the former Auburn head coach Gus Malzahn. I look for what Florida has lost in this game.
Is Napier coaching?
No, Greg Knox will coach this game.
That's right. Okay.
He's the intern coach, and there's no better way. I like Greg Knox. He won me over in this press conference. There's just absolutely no way Gus Malzahn and his UFC Knights are ready for what's about to happen. Even with a team that's got 10 guys in the transfer portal, I think they're just too deep talent wise, and I don't think. I mean, Gus Malzahn will have to pull out the win that he's never had here, and get that at UCF because this is a series that's only 2-1.
Let me get my pencil. Not so fast. UCF takes this one. Even I know Florida's favored by 7. Gus Malzahn is going to go into Tampa and he will beat the Florida Gators. I just don't see Florida coming out. I know they got a new head coach. I just don't see him wanting to even be here at this point. I think they're just getting ready to go.
I keep up with a lot of people on a lot of football teams. UCF's probably one that I can't tell you anybody that plays for the team.
I can't either.
Because they're irrelevant. Florida wins by 21 points in a murder of a game.
All right, so me and you are different on that one. So that's the one we got to circle for sure. All right, so the next one is the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl. We got the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors versus the Memphis. What are they? The Tigers.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick Memphis. I know Hawaii's had a terrible year. I don't know too much about Hawaii football. That's why I'm taking Memphis to be. I'll just be.
Well, Hawaii's 4-2 at home this year, right? This game is in Hawaii. You talk about the traveling. You talk about everything that's involved with the bowl.
Yeah.
This is on Christmas Eve at 8:00.
Yeah.
This team is going to travel over the 23rd, 22nd, I believe, is what Memphis will do more than likely. Hawaii is hard to beat at home. Hawaii wins this in a close one, 38, 31, 28, something like that. It was I just think Hawaii being at home is the difference. If you've never played in the league or if you never played college ball, it's hard for me to describe to you what traveling does. But traveling all the way around the country just about take toll on this Memphis Tigers team, and we'll see. But I like Hawaii in this one. I just think it's going to be a good game, and they cover up.
No, my boy Raymond's with me. He agrees with me that Memphis will take this one. So,
but Raymond's also a Georgia fan too, so I mean,
great minds think alike, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, next one we had the Camellia Bowl, Ball State versus Georgia State. Look, Georgia State's got a decent program. I think that Georgia State, they will go in there and handle Ball State pretty well. They've had some tough losses this year, but they also have some good wins. I like Georgia State in this one.
I agree. Georgia State's covered, and you look at the spreads, and
they do a good job of covering.
Well, they've covered the last 6 out of 7, and
yeah,
I mean, and Ball State's quarterback Granger. Look, this guy he's thrown for 15 touchdowns with 7 interceptions.
Yeah.
Does he make mistakes against this Georgia State Panthers team? I believe so, but I think Georgia State has enough to hold off this Ball State team.
Agree. Couldn't agree with you more, man. All right, so the next one, we got the Quick Lane Bowl. We got Western Michigan at Nevada. That's right.
Look, there's a lot of eyes on NFL prospect Carlson Strong here for the Wolfpack. They, Jay Norvell's the head coach at Nevada. This one to me, so I've got to go with I'm going to go with Nevada on this one just because I don't know if the Broncos have it in them. The Broncos win.
Yeah, I agree with you because, I just think Nevada's got a little bit more talent than Western Michigan does. All right, so the Military Bowl, we got Boston College versus East Carolina. This is an East Carolina team that's played some pretty good football this year. Man, at one point, I know they were in the top 25. I'm taking East Carolina in this one by 10.
Eastern Carolina, a stat to keep in mind, they've won the last 5 games they were favored out of. And they won the last 10 they was underdogs in.
Yeah.
So this is a look, we know that they had the Boston College has had a year where they lost to Florida State and Wake Forest. Boston College wins this. It's the Pirates are not ready for Boston College, and Boston College coming off the back-to-back losses of Florida State and Wake Forest. I just think I think Boston College wins this and could get away from them.
I'll be honest, I hate Boston College for the rest of my life because they sent Matt Ryan to the Falcons. So I will never root for the Golden Eagles. All right, so the next one we got the Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl with Houston and Auburn. Now, Auburn's only hanging 3 in this as far as the spread goes. So, and I'm actually going to pick Houston on this. I know they had a tough loss to Cincinnati. But Houston, they have a very good offense, even though they didn't show it against Cincinnati. But they played some good ball. I don't know. There's a lot of question marks at Auburn right now, going forward.
Well, Auburn's going to start TJ Finley. Most of everybody believes TJ Finley will be the starter for Auburn. I just think Auburn is that good. Houston has a good team. They did play in them. They do have a good defense. They're ranked 20th in the country. Auburn's not ranked at all. But I just think TJ Finley makes enough plays with his feet, extends plays. And Auburn just their defense, I think their defensive line will be disruptive when it comes to the Cougars trying to move the ball. And I just look for the maybe Auburn wins and they may win big.
Yeah, Raymond, it's hard because you don't know what Auburn team's going to show up, man.
Well, this has been a different team with TJ Finley starting.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're actually better with Bo Nix out of the game, to be honest.
Well, TJ Finley makes less. He's a transfer from LSU, but he makes less mistakes, and that's the biggest thing. And he can extend plays just like Bo Nix can. So I look for this Auburn Tigers team to hand it to the Cougars here.
Yeah. All right, so the next one we got the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl, Air Force versus Louisville. I'm taking the Cardinals on this one, bud.
Well, look, the Falcons. Air Force is coming out, and they'll be running. Guess what?
A triple option.
A triple option.
That's all military teams do, man. That's all they got.
I just think Malik Cunningham makes enough plays at quarterback to make the Cardinals. I just think the Cardinals pull it out. I think the Cardinals may be with Cunningham at quarterback, maybe a better team than what people give them credit for.
Yeah.
And Troy Calhoun is 5-5 in bowl games. That's something to keep in mind.
Mm-hmm.
The look, Air Force can be any triple option team can be a nasty game. And I know a lot of people. This may be one of the closest, as far as spreads go. This is a 1.
Yeah.
And Louisville's dropping a 1, but I just like Louisville in this one. I think
Yeah.
if they can stop the triple option and Malik Cunningham gets rolling, I think that they are that good.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. So the next one we got the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at Texas Tech versus a Mississippi State. Who do you like in this one, bud?
Let me tell you, this is a Mike Leach. This one ought to be fun, and because he's got both teams.
Yeah, he's going back to his
Both teams throw the rock around, but
Yep.
you have to look at what Mississippi State has in their quarterback. I just think that he is that good. I think Mississippi State's had a couple of good wins this year. They've played a couple of close games. I just like Mississippi State and their quarterback, Will Rogers III here.
Well, Mike Leach is going back to Texas Tech, where he was the head coach for from 2000 to 2009. I think the committee did that on purpose to see that's going to be some fireworks out there if I ever seen one. But I do like Mississippi State in this one. Too much talent on that team. So the next one, I think this game right here is going to be a lot closer than what people think. It's the SDCCU Holiday Bowl, where the NC State Wolfpack take on the UCLA Bruins, who a lot of people thought, we're going to eventually come out of the Pac-12. But this NC State team is playing some really good football as of late. I'm taking the Wolfpack in this one.
No, I like you. I like UCLA in this, and I'm just gonna say one name that you guys need to watch for next year, and that's Dorian Thomas Robinson. And you talk about dynamic players and what Chip Kelly brings as far as recruiter. This guy he averages 160 yards rushing. UCLA wins in an upset.
Oh, you called it, huh?
Yes.
You're calling it right here. All right. So that's another one we'll have to circle. All right. So the next one here we have, let's see, the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, West Virginia versus Minnesota. I think this game is going to be. I think it's going to be a toss-up, man. Both teams are. I mean, they're not great, but they're decent. I'm going to give the edge to West Virginia in this one.
Gophers win. The Gophers are I know the Gophers have had Minnesota's had their up and downs. I just think the West Virginia is not there yet. Look, they lost Dana Holgren. He goes to Houston. They lose that. West Virginia loses their head coach. They got Neil Brown that's there now. Look, he's 4-0 in bowl games, but I just like the Gophers in this.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. The next one is where do we leave off at? All right, so we got that one. All right, the next one is the Fenway Bowl. I think this is going to be played in Fenway Park. This one is SMU versus Virginia. The spread on this one, Virginia is laying 1.5 points. I like Virginia in this one. They've had a decent year in the ACC. At one point, they were in talks to come out of the ACC, but I do like the Cavaliers in this one versus SMU team.
Yeah, Virginia wins, and it may get ugly.
Yeah, it may be pretty quick. So that one's definitely a for sure pick. The New Era Pinstripe Bowl, you got the Virginia Tech versus Maryland, and I swear to God, dude, every time I see that Enter Sandman intro, man, I just get fired up, dude. That makes one of
There's not a lot of people. There's not a lot of teams that have the ability to give me goosebumps running out on the field.
Yeah.
There's several of them. One is Virginia Tech. The other one's probably Florida State.
Yeah, that just put chills down your spine.
I mean, if you can't, I mean, you can't get excited just think about, Enter Sandman come on, and these guys bringing lunch pails to the Hokies, bringing lunch pails to this game. But the Hokies look, Justin Fuentes was fired.
Yeah, he was.
Virginia Tech comes in with an interim coach. The Hokies are a better team the
Yeah,
Hokies are a better team we think than the Terrapins, the Maryland.
yeah,
I think Virginia Tech wins without Justin Fuente.
yeah. I do too. I think there's just too much. They're too talented on either side of the ball versus a Maryland team. All right, so the next one we got the Cheez-It Bowl, Iowa State Hawkeye versus the Clemson Tigers. Man, this game could go either way, in my opinion. What do you think?
Look, Clemson's in what we call the Cheez-It Bowl. Dabo's going in without both coordinators,
Yeah,
but Clemson has a chance to still get to 10 wins this year.
yeah,
Clemson is ranked 19th. I know they've got some issues at quarterback, still trying to figure this out. Um, the Cyclones got Brock Purdy and Bryce Hall, and they've got several. I mean, they got a dynamic quarterback in Purdy and a hell of a running back in Bryce Hall. I just think Iowa State is favored in this. I
Well,
just think
Clemson's favored by one. No, no, no.
yeah,
Sorry. Iowa State favored by one. I'm sorry.
yeah, I know. It's okay. But look, Clemson gets to 10 wins. Clemson wins this game. I just think Clemson's going in as underdogs. Dabo Swinney knows how to use this underdog good. He knows how to use what he has in front of him. And I think he uses the underdog card, and Clemson gets the 10th win of the season.
Not so fast. I don't trust DJ Ugavalea against this Iowa State defense, man. They do have they cause a lot of turnovers, and they played pretty good defense all year, minus a few games here and there. I'm taking Iowa State in this one.
Yeah, you're going to be really unhappy come the 28th.
We'll see. All right, so this one here, man, this is going to be another good game. We got the Valero Alamo Bowl, Oregon versus Oklahoma.
Oklahoma coming off the year that they had with Caleb Williams at quarterback. I mean, we've seen Oregon lost Mario Cristobal to Miami. Oklahoma lost their coach to USC. Caleb Williams is so far he's still enrolled at Oklahoma, so that means he'll still play in this bowl game.
Yeah.
Oklahoma wins. Look, Caleb Williams will probably go in the season next year as a Heisman favorite.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, that being said, look at the Heisman favorites that win in this year. One of them is transferring from Oklahoma, and we've not heard nothing else from. The other one in North Carolina, we don't know what he's doing.
No. Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show you. I got Oklahoma in this one as well. Oregon, I think they had a good year. I don't think they'll beat Oklahoma, even without Lincoln Riley there. So let's see. Next one, we got the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl, my favorite mayonnaise. We got the Carolinas playing each other, North versus the South. Paul, who's going to win this one?
Well, this is a rematch of what we've seen during rivalry week, and I just think Mac Brown and this North Carolina and this. Remember the guy I was just talking about that's favored for the Heisman this year?
Yeah,
his name's Sam Howell.
Sam Howell. Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, he's still pretty good. North Carolina's on the brink of something good here. Look, North Carolina's got 3 5-star recruits that's committed already. They've got 2 out of the top 10 in the world committed to North Carolina. Mac Brown's doing what it takes, winning ball games. I think North Carolina just goes in and absolutely destroys Shane Beamer and these South Carolina Gamecocks.
Yeah, Shane Beamer's
this
a good
is a
guy.
rematch we've already seen.
Yeah, Shane Beamer's a good guy. I think he'll be better as a coordinator. I think this Mac Brown team they got way better talent. Let's be honest.
As long as Sam Howell starts for North Carolina, they will win.
Yeah, I mean, this is a South Carolina team who beat y'all 40-0.
Next.
All right, just kidding, but don't mute me. Let's see. All right, so the Trans Perfect Music City Bowl, Tennessee versus Purdue.
And this game here has a lot to do with Josh Heupel and what he's trying to do with this Tennessee program. Say what you want, but Tennessee comes in with, playing pretty good ball, and especially with Heupel's first year being there. He can make an actual decent season with a win over the Purdue Boilermakers here. It should be more this game should be more one of the entertaining games. And high scoring at that. Tennessee's been able to put points up. Purdue's been able to put points up. Purdue ranks 8th in all of the FBS offense. So they're scoring points. But can the Boilermakers finish the season and get to 9 wins? Can Josh Heupel and these Tennessee Volunteers get to 8 wins this year? Tennessee wins, but this is a game that the Boilermakers almost made this.
Yeah, I agree with you, Raymond. I think Tennessee has this game. Before the Alabama game, Tennessee was the game that the Bulldogs were the only game they trailed in. They have a good, fast, up-tempo offense that can score very quickly. Their wide receivers are all beasts. They're all over 6 foot, and they're grown men. And I think Purdue's going to have a lot of trouble covering these guys down the field. They can make some explosive plays. I got Tennessee big in this one. So the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, we got Michigan State versus Pitt. This ought to be a good one, too. Let's see what Mel Tucker's really made of. Even though Pittsburgh did lose, Pittsburgh won the ACC. Who do you got in this one, bud?
I take Pittsburgh. I just think with their quarterback situation they have with the old fake slide, will we see that?
Yeah.
Will we see that again? I know the NCAA come out this week and put a potential penalty and a dead ball on this, but I just like Pittsburgh to win this game. Just outright dominant win by Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, bud. So now we have the SRS distribution, Las Vegas Bowl with Wisconsin and Arizona State. As much as I don't know, but I'll take Wisconsin in this one. I don't think Arizona State has that much talent on their team. I know Wisconsin got some NFL prospects on their team, a few of them.
Both teams come in at 8-4. Both teams are looking for a 9-win season. I agree with you. I just think the Sun Devils are away a couple of years. I just think Wisconsin wins this one and covers what the 8-point spread here.
Yeah. Agree. Now, Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, we got Texas A&M versus Wake Forest. I think this is going to be a murder. Texas A&M over Wake Forest.
Well, this is a rematch we seen in the 2017 Belk Bowl, Ryan, and this was a game a lot of people had Texas A&M to win. They didn't. They lost by 7 points to the Wake Forest team. The Demon Deacons will keep this game interesting with their offense that they have. I just think the Aggies pulled out victory late. The Demon Deacons do keep this game. To me, the Demon Deacons seem like they can – look, we've seen a good Texas A&M. We've also seen a bad Texas A&M.
I just don't think this is going to be a close one, man. I think Wake Forest got exposed, and Jimbo Fisher ain't going to let this team lose to Wake Forest. I guarantee you that. All right, so next we got one of the stupidest bowl names I've ever heard of, Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. You got the Hurricanes of Miami versus the Washington State, whoever the hell they are. Who do you like in this one, bud?
I like Washington State in this one, and the reason I say that the Cougars they've had their offense has been decent this year. They've been able to move the ball around. Miami has the trouble stopping people. I just don't think the Hurricanes are ready. Look, the Hurricanes are 1-5 against ranked opponents this year.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a couple of years for Cristobal to get that team. He's got to get Manny Diaz, the players, out of there. They either got to transfer or he's got to find some more talent, man. And
Cristobal will find talent. I don't think Manny Diaz coaches. They're going to go with the interim coach. Manny Diaz is kind of upset with how all that handled.
Yeah, he said he didn't know about it.
Well, he'll leave the program before this. I just think, but he, like I said last Tuesday, don't feel bad for Manny Diaz and what he done with Temple.
No. Hey, our boy Raymond's calling Miami in this one.
Yeah, if Miami, if it was 30 years ago, I'd probably take Miami too.
All right. All right. So now we got one of the playoffs, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, the Bearcats of Cincinnati taking on the Roll Tide of Alabama. It's pretty much safe to say who we think is going to win this one.
Look, let me tell you, there is no there. Look, Cincinnati had a good season.
They had a good year.
The Bearcats get rolled by the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, just after that game
I'll
versus
keep
Georgia.
that one short and sweet. Their Cinderella season comes to an end.
Yeah, and we'll see you in the Big 12.
This is a team in Alabama, though. I've got to say this: John Mechie will not play. We know that he got injured in the Georgia game. But Cincinnati's got 2 cornerbacks that'll play in the league next year.
Yeah,
not saying the Crimson Tide won't just dominate, but I think Alabama hangs 40 to 50 points on Cincinnati here.
Yeah, and then Cincinnati, their whole thing about being in the playoffs will be going until they expand. All right, so the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. You got Boise State versus Central Michigan. Who do you got? I'm taking the Boise State, man. I don't know, just something about them. I don't know too much about Central Michigan, to be honest. I know Boise State, they've had a decent year. I'm rolling with the Broncos on this one.
I'm with you. I think Boise State wins, and I think it could get ugly.
All right. Here's what we all came to see. The Capital One Orange Bowl, Georgia versus Michigan. Georgia is a 7.5-point favorite in this one. Paul, I got to hear your thoughts on this one, bud. Let's hear it. Let's lay it out all on the table.
Well, I mean, I've got to just keep it 100 here. I just think this Michigan Wolverine. You talk about 2 teams that are carbon copies of each other. I'm not saying Michigan's defense is as good as Georgia. Don't get it twisted. But Michigan, the Wolverines, they've got a hell of a quarterback and a great running back. I mean, that's breaking records for rushing touchdowns in a game.
Yeah, so 6 games this year, he's rushed for over 100 yards.
I mean, this line's constantly moving. Georgia was a favorite at first by 6-7 points and is moving. People say they can't pick against Georgia. Well, guess what? I did last week, and I will again. Wolverines in this one, like I said, it may get ugly for Georgia fans. You may want to burn all your Walmart Georgia Bulldog shirts.
Walmart. Come on now, we gotta go to
whoever I don't know where all these people buy.
Dude, we gotta go to Academy Sports to get our stuff, man.
No.
Yeah, you find Georgia State. You find Georgia State, Georgia Tech stuff at Walmart, but Georgia stuff, you gotta go to Academy.
Let's keep it real. This is a 2 good teams, and I think they're carbon copies of each other. I think a lot of these teams favor. I think the way their defenses is built, the way their offenses is built, I don't look for this to be a high-scoring game. Georgia definitely doesn't cover the spread. It's hard for me because I've seen this Georgia defense play lights out for 12 games and then absolutely just get bunkered by Bryce Young and the Crimson Tide. You talk about what they lost in the defensive coordinator position, what they'll lose in the transfer portal. You'll have guys that suited up 13 games that won't be there for this bowl game.
Yeah, what I will say, Michigan has a better offense than us, but I do think our defense is a lot better.
If y'all haven't found out you are beatable by now, I don't know what it's going to take for you people, Georgia fans, to open their eyes up and see. They're not. I mean, they were decent in the regular season, but against who? You know.
Well, we got better talent. I mean, that's what it goes. That's what this game's going to come down to. We have more talent on both sides of the ball than Michigan. Now, my question is, which coach do you trust in this ball game? None of these coaches have won the big game yet.
Yeah.
Who do you trust more, Kirby Smart or Jim Harbaugh?
Well, just because I've got to take Michigan, Jim Harbaugh. Look, Michigan's. I can tell you one thing, Michigan's looked at the Alabama tape, and they've realized you beat Georgia by getting the ball out fast, and you beat Georgia by throwing the ball deep. I mean, I've called it all year. When they blitz 8 people, somebody is wide open or somebody is one-on-one. And we've seen these corners for Georgia are not who we thought they were. They got torched by 2 receivers that Mechie and Williams for almost 200 yards apiece. Bryce Young threw for 435 yards, and Alabama had 800 yards total offense against it, the number 1 Georgia team. My ass. Wolverines win.
I got Georgia winning by. It's going to be close. I think Georgia wins by 13. They pull it off in the end.
We've heard that before.
We'll see. All right, so now we got the Outback Bowl. Arkansas is going to be playing Penn State. Look, this game could go either way as well.
Look, James Franco's not ready for Sam Pittman and these Arkansas Razorbacks.
Like
if there's one thing I can tell you, if there's one team that I feel comfortable taking besides Florida and Alabama in this Picem, I've got to pick the Arkansas Razorbacks. I just think that the offensively they've been clicking since that Georgia game where they got a goose egg, and they've got a hell of a quarterback there at Arkansas, and I think he makes the plays, and I don't think Penn State's ready for what's fixing to hit them.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. We've both seen Arkansas play all year, and we know what they're capable of. So the next one, we got the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. We got Oklahoma State versus Notre Dame. I'm taking Oklahoma State in this one, man. They're coming off.
Oklahoma State should have won the Big 12 championship, right?
Raymond, he's a Florida Gator fan, by the way. But I think Oklahoma State has a bad taste in their mouth. They just want to go out there and they're going to physically punish Notre Dame. They're going to try to kill them, I believe.
Well, and this is a game that we'll see what Notre Dame is made of. I mean, look, the one team they played that was good this year, is Cincinnati. They lost to.
Yeah. Yep. And then you got Brian Kelly down there with a Cajun accent down there in Louisiana already.
He's got him a Cajun accent, doesn't he?
I know, man.
The guy's from New York, and he's probably the best. He's probably the most Cajun accent besides Coach Orgeron I've ever heard.
Yeah, he's got to be down there eating jambalaya and etouffee.
He's down there etouffeeing it up, son.
Yeah, screw Brian Kelly. I hate him. But I like Oklahoma State in this one, man. I think this is going to be a blowout, to be honest with you.
Look, I don't think Marcus Freeman, I don't think the stage is too big for him in his first job as head coach. I just don't think that Notre Dame's that good. I mean, I have to keep putting comparison to what I've seen from them on the field. And what I remember from Notre Dame this year is they lost to Cincinnati.
Yep. And I just think they're always overrated, man. And they'll get exposed. The VRBO Citrus Bowl, we got Kentucky versus the Iowa. Who you got in this one?
Look, say what you want to about Mark Stoops and this Kentucky team, but if they come out in the chrome helmets, Kentucky big.
Here we go. Let's see. What's the over and under chrome helmets this episode? I would have said 5 to begin with.
I'm just telling you. Look,
you like those?
Mark Stoops has got this team. This Kentucky team, guess what? They're winning ball games.
I got Iowa in this one, bud.
Yeah, you would.
I got Iowa.
Iowa scored 3 points in their championship game.
Don't matter. They're gonna beat Kentucky, man.
Iowa may not score a point against this Kentucky defense.
Iowa wins and wins big. Mark my words. All right, now down there in California on the West Coast, we got the Utah Utes versus the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think Ohio State is going to roll in this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just think the Utes are going to try to do the same thing Michigan did: run the ball down Ohio State's throat.
I mean, they beat Oregon, didn't they? The last game of the season, yeah.
Can Utah find themselves a running game that Utah's been able to pass the ball well this year. The quarterback, he averages 200 yards per game. Let's see if Utah can't rush the ball. Have we found the blueprint to beat Ryan Day and these Ohio State Buckeyes?
Yeah, there's not too many games I would bet against C.J. Stroud in. though, to be honest with you. And they got a hell of a wide receiver out there. I can't think of his name, but he's going to be a first-round draft pick.
Chris Olave.
Yeah, that's him, Olave. Yeah, I like him a lot. So I just think there's too much offense for Utah to handle. All right, so now in the Sugar Bowl, we got Baylor versus the Ole Miss Rebels, and I'm going with Matt Corral. I'm going with Lane Kiffin, and I'm taking the Rebels all day in this one.
Well, I've talked to you a little bit about now. You can't take anything away from Dave Aranda and this Baylor team from what he's done, taking over this program and establishing something. Look, they're going to try to slow down Matt Corral, and Dave Aranda will come out with a good defensive game. And I know Baylor's favored in this game. I just think that there's not a lot of teams that want to see Ole Miss play right now, and Baylor's on that list.
No, I mean, look, yeah, you're right, man. Baylor had a good year. They Big 12, they won. But I think they're going to meet their match on this one against this Ole Miss team. So here to round out the last one is the TaxAct Texas Bowl, the Kansas State versus LSU Tigers, man. This is kind of a tricky game. I don't know what LSU team we're going to see in this one. I don't know, man. I think LSU still wins. I think it'll be a lot closer than most people predicted, though.
I'm not even making a pick.
Why?
I'm just kidding.
Are you calling the game?
LSU wins.
I thought for a second you were calling that game.
No, I wouldn't call LSU. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know. It just sucks to see Edo not out there, man. But that's it, man, for all our bowl picks, man. Look, I know me and Paul we have some different picks on a few of them, so hopefully I'll come out on top because I need to win. Paul's beaten me at everything pretty much this whole entire year. This is the one time I need to get up on him.
Well, and switching gears here, let's talk just for a minute about it. You want to talk about the NFL? Let's talk just quickly about the Falcons versus the Panthers. We won't go into all the NFL games, but let's talk just quickly about the Falcons and Panthers. Both of these teams are 5-7.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams need a win. The difference here is Carolina can run the ball, the Falcons can't.
No. Well, Carolina fired Joe Brady off the bye week, so I don't know who's going to be coaching the offense this week, but the Falcons are going to see Cam Newton again, a guy who they've seen quite a bit over these last few years. But I think they have Cam Newton figured out, man. I just think Cam Newton's way past his playing time.
Well, Cam Newton's back. I'm not saying Cam Newton's going to make or break this game. I just think Carolina. I don't even think. I think Sam Darnold's back for this game. That's the difference in me. And Cam Newton, I don't think he if he gets in, it will be limited. I think that Darnold's back in this game, if I'm not mistaken. If Sam Darnold's I've got to take, and Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore, I've got to take.
That's what I'm saying. They got weapons. I mean, it's not like they have a bad offense.
I just think the Falcons have been figured out.
Well, there's not much to figure out. It's just stop Cordell Patterson. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and Matt Ryan will throw. He'll have some of his dumb play. Kurt Warner. He was in the social media this week about he broke down a lot of Matt Ryan's plays over this year so far, and he was very critical of Matt Ryan, saying that and sometimes he looks like a good quarterback, but then he'll turn around and make some of the stupidest throws that you've ever seen, and I think that's what you'll get with Matt Ryan. I'm just not a Matt Ryan fan. I can't wait till the day he's done playing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and we won't get into all the NFL games due to time restraints, but I want to quickly talk about this, and I had been talking about this to Ryan off the air a couple of days now, yesterday and today, and I want to talk about this because this is something that it means a lot to me, and I think it means a lot to the direction the state of Georgia is going. And
thank you, Raymond. We appreciate you, bud. No, 100%, bud. We appreciate you.
Well, and look, I want to talk just for a second. I don't remember all the score from yesterday, but for those that didn't watch any of the high school championship games from yesterday, there were 3 girls flag football teams that played in the championship game yesterday, and Georgia is the number one state in the the country. They've got over 200 girls teams that play flag football. You talk about where they was at in 2019 when it was Gwinnett County had their 30 high schools. It was only Gwinnett County. It was a county. It was a county. It was only Gwinnett that was playing in 2019. That went to about 50 teams in 2020, and this year almost 200 teams. I like where
Woo.
the GSHA is headed. I
Yeah.
like it's and I've got to give look, last night's flag football game, yesterday afternoon, a girls flag football game, a really good game in the 7A classification when the Hillgrove Hawks played the Marietta Blue Devils, and this is something that I've got to say because this is I think this is trending upwards. I think that we've talked about this before on the show, but I think this is a great thing to do for women and girls. Look, they had during the Hillgrove game, both head coaches were women.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it is.
I mean,
Paul, look,
you've
Paul
got
called
two.
me.
You've got. I mean, look at you as a father, right?
Yeah.
Look at. I mean, for those Ryan has a couple of kids,
I got two girls.
and possibly more. We don't know.
Maybe. We'll
I'm
see.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. But Ryan's got two girls, and I've got a little niece. And you know how exciting that would be to see her put
Yeah.
on that Lamar County Trojan uniform and go out there and throw for 256 yards. I mean, look,
Yeah.
they say flag football is not a lot of contact. Well, I can tell you this:
It
Hillgrove
didn't
and
look like it,
Marietta,
did
they were going at it.
it? Yeah. Yeah, I
Look,
would have been scared to go
Hillgrove
and
had
get
a
some of
girl
them
on the
girls.
line. Hillgrove had a girl on the line. She was probably 6'4", 6'5".
Woo! Should have smoked my ass.
I mean, but that's just so good to see, and
Yeah.
I just think I just think that's great for the GSHA. I mean, they
Yeah.
have championship games.
Well, let's be honest, man. I can't speak for all women, but I guarantee you that there are a lot of athletic women out there who don't want to play soccer or basketball or softball. They want to have other sports that they can play. And I think what they're doing with introducing this sport to high school girls is amazing. Gives girls more of an opportunity to go out there. Because let's face it, man, if you're a girl, what do you have? You can do track, basketball, soccer, or softball, man. But all girls are going to be into that stuff, man. And I think that the way that they can incorporate this into the high school association would be, I mean, it's huge.
They've got over 200 high schools playing. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at that from where it was in 2019 when they had 30 teams playing and it was just Gwinnett County
Yeah.
to where it's taken over now. I mean, there's 200 girls flag football team. Why not get the same recognition that boys get? It just and
Yeah.
there was college scouts out of Wyoming there for flag football.
Well, and that's the thing too. Look, man, we had a girl play football with us back when we was in high school.
Now, whoa. Look, I'm all for I'm all
I'm just saying, look, here's my point I'm trying to make. Women and girls, they have a resilient attitude, right? No matter how many times, look, I got two of them. I can tell you firsthand. You tell them no, they're going to do it anyway, right? And the same situation happened. They're going to play with us. She got hit so many times, but you know what? You never heard a peep out of her. She always got right back up, and she was just like nothing happened. There are girls out there with that mentality, man, and a lot of them are going to go really far in life, and girls are probably way better at it than men. To be honest with you, I don't know, men. I'm not talking about get 6'5". Men are probably more athletic, but the heart and determination of some of these girls you're seeing out there, men wouldn't be able to do what they do.
No,
That's my point I was trying to make.
Well, no, and a great point that you bring up because I watched that game. I called Ryan yesterday when the first game kicked off at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So Ryan, you ain't gonna believe this. I said there is championship games of flag football, and these girls are throwing the rock around. The first
Yeah.
game went to triple overtime.
I mean, it's
Second
exciting.
game, I mean, it is so exciting to see a young female be able to throw the ball, catch the ball, make a stop, make a tackle. It was just exciting to see where the direction's going because it times are changing, right? I mean, with
Yeah.
the kicker that Vanderbilt had a few years
Yeah.
ago, and you bring up a good point. The girl that played, do I think she was a free safety? Maybe not. But look, every time we knocked her down, she got back up, and she
And
never once complained.
she
No,
didn't complain. There were guys out there who were complaining more than she was.
look, there was nothing for me to tell on a 35 tall sweep or something when I'm pulling around. It's that look, you're taught as an offensive lineman when you're pulling right tackle, your first instinct is inside to out. So if the center doesn't get the reach block on the linebacker, on the weak side linebacker, I go for him, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of times that I maybe would forget that inside linebacker and I would go to the safety.
Yeah.
Just
Oh man.
just to put something good on the film.
Right.
But I mean, all that being said, I just can't thank the coverage. These girls were on TV, and
Yeah.
like I said, I just think this sport will continue to grow, and I just can't help but to think your girls, my little niece Everly, she's out there, but Everly's a left-handed. She's left-handed.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
crazy.
she's a lefty, and dude, I mean, she's got a good throw to her. If she's anything like her mom, Rachel's athletic.
Yeah.
She's smart when it comes to football. She can read offenses, defenses better than probably the majority of us. But it's going to be so wonderful to see her put that Trojan uniform on and
Yeah.
represent Lamar County up at the Georgia State Arena, winning a high school state championship for Lamar County High School.
Wouldn't that be
And
something?
and she's a lefty.
She's already winning.
Yes, I mean, she's got a good spiral.
Yeah. She's gonna be like the female version of Tim Tebow, but
I mean, she's got a good spiral on her, bud.
That's good, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. I just can't thank GSHA and what they've done to boost that sport and what they've put into that, and these high schools too. Look, there's probably not a lot of revenue that comes from that, but being fair is not always right.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, man, it shouldn't all have to come to about money. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't all have to be about money.
But
All
we
right?
talked a little bit though about yesterday, and when I called Ryan, I got to mention this. There was also the single A private Georgia high school game was yesterday, in Trinity Christian and Prince Avenue. This was a rematch from last year, where Prince Avenue just dominated with Vandergrift there, that is now a 5-star red shirt. Red shirt freshman at Georgia. His dad's still the coach, and Prince Avenue, they still got Vandergrift's little brother that's really good, but they fall to a Trinity Christian team, and the Lions 55-28. That was a game we thought would go Prince Avenue's way with just where they've come in the single A private classification. I just thought you give the edge to Prince Avenue because of what they've done all season long. Just great win for Trinity Christian. I mean, look, they're right here in Sharpsburg.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that game, we watched that game yesterday. I mean, it was 35-7 at halftime. Prince Avenue did come back a little bit. They scored some touchdowns. But it was Trinity Christian was too much to handle for those guys, man. They got a good looking program, man. I will say I haven't watched too many single A private school games, but that was a kind of a good game to watch, though. And I'm a fan of all football. I'll watch it. I don't care who's playing. I'll watch it. Then the other game was almost the exact same score: Brooks County and Irwin County.
Well, you look at what Brooks County did. You look at what the Trojans come in with the game, Ryan. You got to look at this. Brooks County came in with a head coach that had been there 29 years. The head coach of Brooks County, can't remember his name, but he stressed the importance of hammering. That was his go-to. Ours was finishing the drill. Look, Brooks County went in there and they hammered Irwin County. Irwin County is a team in the single A classification public that has got guys that you'll see play on Saturday all over that team.
Oh, absolutely.
But good win for Brooks County, 56-28.
Ooh, and then we got some games kicking off tonight. I think we got 2 games that are already complete. We got 1 game in progress right now. The Fitzgerald Purple Hurricanes, man, they knock off Thomasville 21-7.
Was that not a surprising game, Ron? Just
I had
looking at that game.
honestly, man, I had Thomasville.
Everybody in the world had the Thomasville Bulldogs to win this just because of the
Yeah.
regular season that they've had. Fitzgerald comes off one of the most dominating wins. Look, it was 21-7. But
Yeah.
Fitzgerald, the score didn't even add up to what Fitzgerald put on that team. Fitzgerald quarterback, he was lights out. Fitzgerald's defense able to hold this high-powered Thomasville Bulldogs team to 7 points. I mean, you talk about a game that's kind of like saying Cincinnati beats Alabama here.
Right.
That's what it's like with Fitzgerald beating Thomasville. I mean,
that was a shocker in my opinion, because I thought Thomasville was going to be, they were going to be playing a lot better football than what they did. I don't, like you said, nobody predicted that score.
Well, nobody predicted Thomasville struggling on offense. Look, you talk about great offensive teams, and especially in that classification, and you have to sit there and think that it was, at the end of the day, it was just those sheer willpower of Fitzgerald to come in and knock them off.
Yeah. Yeah, and good job by those boys too, man. That was a good game yesterday. So shouts out to Fitzgerald. I was in the Navy with a guy from Fitzgerald. I know he's a big alumni down there, so shouts out to them. And then the other game that's going on, that's already complete for the day. Hang on one second, let me get back to it here. Was Carver losing to Benedine 35-28. Well, that was another close game, man. That game could have went either way there for the last few minutes, but Benedict was able to pull it off at the last few minutes, man. Like I said, all these games, they're fun to watch, man. Like I think high school and college football games are so exciting to watch because any team can win. Just because your record, I mean, unless you're Collinsville. But look at this Benedict team, man. They scored 713 points this year. They only gave up 311.
Well, you talk about a 4A matchup here that was this was a 4A matchup between Carver that we kind of thought that was coming along. But Benedict also, I mean, look, they've got a quarterback there if I'm not mistaken, he's going to Western Michigan. They've got Benedict has a wide receiver that's going to somewhere. The Benedict Cadets, they're a good team, and we saw that in the 28-14. I mean, that was strictly it.
Yeah, so the quarterback is Holden Grenier. I don't know where he's I don't know if he's committed anywhere yet or not. I don't see anything on there, but he had a heck of a game, dude. I mean, he's had a great year to be honest, he had a great year all around. He's ranked number 11. He's the 11th ranked quarterback in Georgia. So I'm pretty sure he's probably go wherever he wants. Let's see. All right, then the game that's going on right now, Paul, Buford is down 14. Well, they just scored, but
Buford just scored on a great touchdown pass to Isaiah Bond
with 4 seconds left.
For those that are not that really don't keep up with this show a lot, I've mentioned Isaiah Bond was a Florida commit for 2 years. Just recently decommitted to Florida. He's now committed to Alabama. But you talk about an athlete and you talk about 4 stars. Isaiah Bond was Florida's highest rated recruit. This is a Buford Wolves team. We remember Buford when they was 2A, Ron. They went all the way to 6A.
Yeah.
And they've been steady. Every classification they're in, they're able to hang in. Langston, it started off with 2 quick scores in this game, rushing the ball good. I've been watching it in Studio A out to my left. Langston and Langston's got a good team. I just think Isaiah Bond and these Buford Wolves find a way to get this game pulled off, bud.
Yeah, and Buford does get the ball to start the third quarter. So look, Buford ain't out of it by no means. And then their Ashton Daniels, I think, they're the quarterback. He's the number 4 quarterback in the state of Georgia as well. So look at these teams, man. God, I mean, there's a lot of talent around all these teams, man. I wish we could have been a part of something like that, man. But woulda, coulda, shoulda, you know.
Well, when you have coaching the way we did, I mean, look, our quarterback was changing plays in the huddle.
I didn't know what he was changing them to, but he
We
changed
did
them.
we didn't know what we was even
I
running
was like,
for.
dude, that play don't even exist, but you're just making up names.
We just went. I
Anywho.
mean, we were just happy to run anything other than a spread right to give.
Oh God, man, tell me about it. Well, Paul, we got anything else to go?
No, the Hawks are tied up with. They just actually
Yeah,
took the lead against the Brooklyn Nets here.
Brooklyn.
Now,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, Trey Young started off on fire. I like the Hawks. Hopefully the Hawks will win against the Nets. The Nets are 17-8, so they're
yeah,
legit. Brooklyn's hanging in there, but I hope the Hawks get this victory. It put them 2 games over 500.
yeah. When we need it, man, they need to start turning things around. It's almost. I mean, it's still December, but there's a lot of basketball to be played. You know, DeAndre Hunter's going to be. He's having that. He had surgery not too long ago, so hopefully we'll get him back. I think sometime in February they said. So be looking out for that. And is that everything you got, bud?
That's all I got, y'all. I'm telling you, one last thing before we go, Ryan. If you guys, I can't stress to you enough. Look, the GPTV. You can go on the App Store, download their app. If you want to watch 3 really good games tomorrow, it's watch 3 good games tomorrow because they're going to be there to. I think the other Carver team plays the Cedar Grove. Warner Robins plays Calhoun, and then you have the big matchup that you'll probably have 100 scouts at, which is Milton and Collins Hill. I can't stress to you enough. That game starts at 7 tomorrow. There's no football on tomorrow night. Look,
Yeah. Weather's supposed to be nasty. Perfect football watching weather.
take 10 minutes and just download that Georgia Public Broadcasting Sports app or watch it online. They're live on Twitter. Or go to Channel 8 if you're local PBS. But I'm telling you, you guys that haven't seen Collins Hill and Travis Hunter, you go watch that game and come back Tuesday and tell me he's not the best player you've ever seen.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I haven't watched it, but I already set my reminder to play. I will watch that entire game. I'm looking forward to it.
It's just going to be one of those you want to see. I mean, look, Collins Hill has a plethora of D1 offers out there, and not only D1, but you're talking about big Power 5 offers out there, and the
Yeah.
number 1 player in the world. Like I said, I won't even tell you his jersey number. You'll find him.
Yeah, you'll see him. He'll stick out for sure. Well, thank y'all for tuning in on with us on this beautiful Friday night. I guess you can call it beautiful. I'm looking out my window here. I mean, I got sunshine over here. I don't know about y'all, but I'm.
Where you at? You
I'm
on the
down
West
here
Coast?
I'm in the man cave, bud. Yeah,
But
this is a
look
little-
at the sun shining in your duck room, bud, in your
Yeah,
bar
this
and
is-
everything. What a setup you got.
it beats being in the swamp. I tell you that.
Whoa. We're
I'm
fixing
just
to end the
kidding,
show
bud.
and you want to upset me off
I
something
know.
like
I'm
that.
just kidding. Well, thank everybody for tuning in, and man, I hope y'all have a great weekend. A lot of stuff to cover, look forward to over this weekend. Look, we're telling y'all, keep an eye out on the Georgia high school football games this weekend, man. A lot of those guys you see playing tomorrow are going to be playing for your favorite teams coming up year. That's a fact.
Yeah, and if you guys want to know anybody or who's getting recruited, just message the page, or don't message because I don't know how to message, but comment Ryan or comment something, and that way I can see and try to figure it out, and I'll tell you who's being recruited. If you're watching this game tonight for the Wolves, the best player on both teams is Isaiah Bond. Like I said, he guy's the number 1 athlete in the country. So, I mean, he's one of those guys that catch the ball, run the ball, plays defense. I mean, 6A classification. You talk that they've got 5,000 kids, so they've got. You don't need to go both ways, but he does.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, bud. Paul, I hope you have a good weekend, bud. I'm sure we'll be in touch. I'll let you this weekend, man. But for those of you out there who are first-time listeners, do us a favor, man. It takes 2 seconds. Like, subscribe our channel. We're all over social media. There's some big news this week. We're now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So if you want to if you're taking a road trip and you're tired of hearing commercials on the radio, turn us on, listen to us. We've got about 2-hour shows, so it should get you where you want to go. Good quality entertainment. Thank y'all so much for listening, and we will see y'all Tuesday. We stream every Tuesday and Friday from 6 to 7 Eastern Standard Time. So just mark your calendars for that, and we'll see y'all next week. Everybody have a good one. Peace.